COVID-19 and its effects on this tax season. More on that coming up.
A group of San Jose State students do their part to try and curb climate change. Update News starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Doran Sekilayan.
And I'm Veronica Vinlawan.
Protests and rallies are being held all over the Bay Area to show support for the Asian community as it continues to be racially attacked. Kenya Caballero attended a rally in Oakland. Kenya, what did you see?
Darwin, I saw a lot of people standing for hours in Madison Park, demanding social change, rights, and justice.
All the attacks that's happening in our Asian American community.
Hundreds of people gathered to demand peace and justice as the Asian community continues to be racially attacked.
I feel terrible. I feel this is not a safe place anymore.
Lucy Lee has been a citizen of the United States for over 30 years, and now more than ever, she's feeling unsafe. But she's not the only one experiencing mixed emotions.
I have my moments where, I'm feeling very angry or feeling very upset.
According to an organization tracking hate crimes against Asian American and Pacific Islanders called Stop AAPI Hate, the Asian community suffered almost 4,000 incidents between March 2020 and February of this year, numbers that are prompting the community to demand change.
I know that, all these incidences are definitely people targeting people who can't defend themselves.
Minorities are coming together to stand up for each other and show that they're not alone.
Richard Gay joined this rally to show support to his friends and the community.
I'm all about equal rights for Blacks, Mexican, Latinos, Asians.
But elders are not the only ones being affected. Younger generations are starting to notice the hateful crimes.
What I would teach the younger generation is love, empathy, just be a good person all around.
The rally ended with the march that demanded equal rights for a community that has been significantly impacted.
If you want to help or you are unsure on how to do it, you can visit diversitypractice.com and choose an organization to donate to. You can also attend rallies in your city and be the voice for those who can't speak. Live in San Jose, Kenya Caballero, Update News.
Tax season can be a stressful time for many people. The pandemic hasn't made the process any easier. With unemployment, stimulus checks, and new laws also in the mix, taxpayers now have extra concerns.
With millions of people having to file for unemployment for the first time, many are apprehensive about how it's going to affect their taxes. Their more notable worries include having to pay back the government with money they clearly don't have.
I think that people around me are nervous about their taxes. A lot of big changes has happened.
These changes include the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, signed by President Biden this past March. Annette Nellen is the director of San Jose State's graduate tax program. She says that although this helps people who filed for unemployment, it's caused major setbacks within the IRS.
A lot of guidance, changing forms, changing processes, while they are, for the most part, working from home just like other people are. So a major disruption.
Caroline Chen is an accounting assistant professor at SJSU. She says that the IRS needs to backtrack since the tax season has already been open for almost 2 months.
So millions and millions of people have already filed their returns, and millions of those taxpayers had unemployment compensation on their tax returns.
The federal government also announced a new tax filing due date.
Most states set their tax deadline to April 15th, but the federal government has pushed that back until May 17th for this 2021 tax season.
Although states aren't obligated to follow in their footsteps, this does give taxpayers extra time to gather the funds to pay back the federal government if they happen to owe them money.
You can get an extension of time to file. You can't get an extension of time to pay.
Amanda Lindemann became self-employed during the pandemic. She's worried that her change in career, as well as unemployment and stimulus checks, will result in her taxes hurting her financially.
Because I'm self-employed, and during this pandemic, I'm more worried than if there was no pandemic, just because I'm worried about owing more money and then having no money and savings left over.
Fortunately for those who received stimulus checks in 2020, there's an easier solution to how you include them into your files.
Economic stimulus payments are not taxable, but you do need to know the amounts that you have received because they are asking for them on your return.
If you're confused about how to handle your taxes this year, don't waste time on reaching out to a tax preparer. The IRS offers free tax preparation for those with an adjusted gross income of $72,000 or less.
Adding fruit scraps to a backyard compost pile diverts organic waste from ending up in a landfill. Students at SJSU prove that composting is an easy and effective way to reduce refuse. Shiri Morwaha is live in Cupertino with more. Shiri?
Narvin, a group of students this semester is working on a refood project which promotes reduction of food waste by composting.
This is a class project that will likely stand out in Alejandra Villa's experience at SJSU.
The Spartan Pantry has allowed us to drop off compost at their location that is later on going to get to the garden.
This communication junior is one of the 5 students working on the refood project, encouraging people to compost.
We're encouraging our families and friends to start composting, collecting food scraps that can be used in gardens and community gardens.
Psychology major Yasmin Fuentes is also a group member. She lives in an apartment and says people without gardens could compost by using apps like ShareDrop to help recycle and compost.
We're gathering it in a bin, and every week I will use either the Share Waste app or I'll drop it off to the community garden.
The group of 5 students promotes local compost drop-off sites like the SJSU Garden or Vegelution, a garden in East San Jose which accepts compost from the public to reuse it.
They repurpose it by giving it to local farms, so like the wineries in Napa, and that's kind of our goal now.
The program is moving from educating and motivating the public to community action by distributing the compost. In addition, the students have started a petition and hope to bring a composting program to the city.
We created this petition to kind of call on the city of San Jose to bring a composting pickup program.
Costanza Rampini is one of the 3 professors teaching the class. She says it's a great opportunity for students to set up a campaign which can be pursued by students next semester.
Maybe you pass the baton to another team that takes it up the next year, or maybe you continue the project, or maybe the university and facilities pick it up because they realize it's great and that you've done all the legwork.
Composting has many benefits. It enriches the soil, retains moisture, suppresses plant diseases and pests. In addition, it helps maintain a clean planet. Shiri Marwaha in Cupertino Update News.
When we come back, Joshua Gilman will be here with a look at the forecast.
Churches are opening back up for Easter. What that looks like coming up next.
Nashville is faced with devastating flash floods. We'll have a live report.
Update News will be back right after this.
At San Jose State University,
we discover who we want to be. For ourselves,
for our families,
for our communities.
Different and unexpected.
Begin here.
At the heart of a transforming valley, in a city that is tough and beautiful.
We are Spartans.
What powers us changes our world.
Congregations around California have been hoping to go back to church for more than a year now. Easter Sunday was the answer to their prayers. Mickey Adams is live in San Jose with more. Mickey?
Veronica, as COVID restrictions loosen up, churches are starting to fill up, but they still have to maintain safe distancing practices.
At St. James Lutheran Church in Hanford, California, parishioners were breathing a sigh of relief through their masks on Easter Sunday. A year ago, places of worship shut down due to safety concerns, meaning that there was no Easter service for a lot of people. Believers had just been worshiping on Zoom with the help of their new pastor, but were longing to meet in person once again.
We are not present with one another, and when people come together, there's a beautiful spirit that happens.
But there won't be another Easter without a service. the church has put in special precautions to ensure that people are allowed to come in and worship safely in person. This past Easter Sunday, masking was mandatory, and every other pew was sectioned off, with seats being reserved to ensure social distancing. There was even a restriction on congregation response and singing. Despite these limitations, people were just happy to be with each other again.
The main thing I think for me is the community. That is seeing people that I haven't seen in a year, even though I've seen them on Zoom maybe, but it's different in person.
Services are also being recorded on Zoom for people who aren't comfortable being in person. All of these changes are here to stay for the foreseeable future, but so are in-person services.
If a pandemic can do anything good for us, it will be that we will start to value the life in front of us.
Churches around the state are making similar changes to allow services to continue in person.
Nashville is recovering from record-breaking rain and resulting floods. Flash flood warnings told people to stay home, but some incidents were unpreventable. Rachel Tate is live in Nashville with more on the story. Rachel?
Darwin, Nashville just can't seem to catch a break. Let's take a look at the latest catastrophic event.
Weather in Tennessee has been nothing short of extreme. So far this year, there's been snowstorms, thunder and lightning, tornadoes, and flash floods. The latest event was the flash floods that happened in Nashville a couple weeks ago after getting over 7 inches of rain in 48 hours. Taylor Tesh is a Geographic Information System Analyst. Her job is to map floodplains. Ironically, the entire first story of her family's home was flooded in 2010.
There was one point my parents just looked at me and my brother and they were like, go pack bags, like go pack overnight bags, go get some clothes, like get some stuff ready.
The Cumberland River ran right through the family's backyard and the water was rising rapidly.
Until I walked downstairs into the den area and we have like glass French doors and I saw like water built up behind the French doors, like pouring in through the cracks.
Tesh and her family managed to escape the house unharmed in her little brother's plastic rowboat. Morgan Lucier moved to Tennessee 2 years ago and was surprised at how unprepared the state was for the recent weather conditions.
Because they're not used to storms like that around here, they don't have the drainage system that a lot of states would have, so flooding is a lot more likely to happen.
Lucier grew up in Indiana where extreme weather conditions are very common.
Severe weather and being able to handle yourself in emergencies is something I was raised to do.
Over 200 people were rescued from their cars over the weekend due to the flooding, myself being one of them. Some were not lucky enough to make it out alive. Over 7 people died due to drowning or being swept away by the water. California native Marissa Figueroa managed to escape the flood with little damage to her home and vehicle.
Our garage flooded, and so there was about like probably 1.5 to 2 feet of water like in the garage, and then our crawl space flooded. And then my car flooded.
Figueroa says she has learned a lot since moving to Tennessee.
In California, you don't take weather reports seriously. So the real advice would be obviously doing any prevention you can on your property, right? Which we should have done.
Figueroa recommends everyone be aware of their property and where water could potentially pool.
Listening to the weather and taking it seriously. Like if there's a flood warning in your area, then you need to be aware of it and you need to stay like off the street and not be driving and like keep an eye on your stuff.
Nashville has had mostly nice weather this week with temperatures mainly in the upper 70s. Hopefully this will give them some time to recover from the floods. Live in Nashville, Rachel Tate, Update News.
And now we have student meteorologist Joshua Gilman with the weather forecast.
Wow, Nashville, Tennessee definitely got a lot of rain in the past 1 week. And this event's severity really compares to their last major flooding event in 2010, when they received 19 inches of rain. Looking at this satellite image issued by the National Weather Service on March 26th, we really see how huge the storm is, basically covering the entire Midwest. Over here in California, though, we virtually haven't received any rain the past 2 weeks, as the fresh spring season really makes its presence known. There were parts of the Bay Area, though, that were windy again throughout this week, so always be on the lookout for those transitional seasonal winds. All right, let's take a look now at the 5-day forecast. First and foremost, Santa Cruz. We'll see high temperatures consistently in the upper 60s, with most days being 67 degrees. And low temperatures are still going to be quite chilly, mainly being in the low 40s. The skies are going to be clear, with the majority of the week seeing fair conditions. In San Francisco, the highs will be mainly in the upper 60s as well, and lows will be in the upper 40s, with Monday through Wednesday nights being at 50 degrees. And Oakland will have some nice weather, with highs consistent in the low 70s, and most days being at about 70 degrees. And the lows will be in the upper 40s. At last, San Jose will continue to see that nice spring weather, with high temps in the mid-70s, and the warmest day being on Wednesday at 77 degrees. And the lows will be in the mid-40s, with sunny skies across the week. That's the weather scoop I have for you now, and continue to enjoy the nice, mild, sunny weather.
When we come back, Ivan Garcia will have a look at sports.
And a look at the week ahead. Update News will be back in 60 seconds.
March Madness comes to an end with Baylor defeating Gonzaga for the championship. Update News will be back right after this.
And now we have Ivan Garcia with sports. So Ivan, how crazy has the NFL offseason been?
It's been crazy, Darwin, because even in the offseason, the NFL never stops having big stories. On Friday, the San Francisco 49ers traded for the number 3 overall pick from the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins received the 49ers 2021 first-round pick, number 12 overall, as well as its first-round picks for the next 2 years and a 2022 compensatory third-round pick. This move leads many to believe that the Niners will draft a quarterback with the 3rd overall pick. This also brings up the question, will the Niners trade away quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo? There are many rumors that the Niners would keep Jimmy G or that the team wants a first-round pick for him. But right before the Niners pick, the New York Jets will be on the clock, and as it seems, they will also be drafting a quarterback. On Monday, the Jets traded away 4th-year quarterback Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers in exchange for a 2021 6th-round pick and its 2022 2nd and 4th-round picks. This may be the first time since 1999 that we see quarterbacks taking the top 3 overall picks. As quick as it started, March Madness is over. Number 1 ranked Baylor beat number 1 ranked Gonzaga 86-70 and won its first NCAA men's championship. Baylor took a 19-point lead 10 minutes into the game and never looked back. The number 1 ranked Stanford's women's team beat number 3 ranked Arizona 54-53 in a nail-biter to win its 3rd NCAA women's championship. Arizona missed a game-winning shot as the clock expired, which would have won its first title. The last time the Stanford's women's team won a title was in 1992. San Jose State football set a program record with 41 student athletes being awarded with the academic All-Mountain West honors for the 2020 season. Of the 41 Spartans that were given the award and were part of the 2020 Mountain West Championship, 24 student athletes were first-time honorees. Student athletes may only receive the award by having at least one academic term at the Mountain West nominating institution, at least a 3.0 cumulative grade point average, and with their contributions to the team's on-field performance. That's a pretty big accomplishment for those student athletes. They should feel pretty proud about how they are representing San Jose State.
And now a look at the week ahead.
The Red Bull Campus Clutch qualifier for students is on April 11th and will go from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m.
This Saturday at 9 a.m., you can join the Trash Punks and the San Jose Youth Commission as they clean our streets to beautify our environment.
Shop small this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Open Air Fair at Santana Row. These are a few activities to get you excited for spring.
And that does it for this week's edition of Update News.
For all of us here, thanks for joining us and see you next week.